together once again. We thank you for the life of our media. Thank you for the life of the Electoral Commission, the whole hierarchy. We thank you for bringing us to deliberate on the way forward. We commit the program into your hands to God. We pray, O God, that the delivery will help us deliver well, that the information will be reported accurately. We pray that the presence of the Holy Spirit, the blood of Jesus, be here. Let the Holy Spirit guide us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Shall we now invite, normally we introduce the panel, but I know for now you are familiar with each and every one here. We have, okay, just for protocol, on my extreme left hand side, Mr. Samuel Titi, who is the Deputy Chairman for Operations. Then we have the chairperson is seated. We have some of our directors around. Our Greater Accra Regional Director, Mr. Kwame Amwa, is also here. So without much ado, we shall now invite the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jane Mensah, to take us along. Mrs. Mensah, you now have the floor.
Thank you. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Thankfully, I don't have all the mics in front of me today, so I don't need to be using my alcohol. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, dear citizens of Ghana and our friends from the media. On behalf of the Electoral Commission, I welcome you to another edition of Let the Citizen Know, the Commission's platform for regular engagement with the citizens through you, our media partners. We thank the Almighty God for His faithfulness and for seeing the Commission through a successful voters registration exercise, an activity that is instrumental in the electoral process as far as credible, fair, transparent elections are concerned. The purpose of this engagement today is to inform our distinguished stakeholders of preparations we have put in place for the exhibition of the Provisional Voters Register. As an institution responsible for national elections, regulations 22.1 and 23.1 of CI 91 enjoined the Commission to compile a Provisional Voters Register for each polling station, indicating the particulars and photograph of each person whose application was received and accepted during the registration, and to display it for public inspection. As such, the Commission will display the Provisional Voters Register for public inspection and correction at designated exhibition centers throughout the country from tomorrow, Friday, the 18th day of September, to Friday, the 25th day of September 2020, from 7 a.m. each day until 6 p.m., including Saturday and Sunday. The exhibition of the Provisional Voters Register will take place simultaneously at all 33,367 exhibition centers across the country. I'd like to emphasize that all exhibition centers will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, and all registered voters are encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity to verify their details. Now I come to the importance of the exhibition exercise. From our experience over the years, participation in the voters' exhibition exercise has always been low. Citizens have not found it worth their while to visit the exhibition centers to check their details on the Provisional Voters Register. We wish to emphasize that the exhibition exercise is an important aspect of the entire registration and election process. It is therefore important that voters take the time to check their details. As you may be aware, the voters register as it stands is provisional. This means that it is not final, and that is why the law recognized the need for the exhibition process to enable all registered voters check and verify their details and ensure that the necessary corrections and omissions are effected before the register is certified. The voters' register will only be deemed final after the exhibition exercise is completed and after authentication by magistrates who, for the purpose of this exercise, serve as the district registration review officers. Ladies and gentlemen, if for nothing at all, the verification of a person's details is important for this very reason, as it affords each voter the opportunity to check whether his or her details are on the register and to request for an inclusion of his or her name where this is missing. The exhibition of the provisional voters register also affords prospective voters an avenue to verify the accuracy of their details captured on the register and gives them the opportunity to correct errors such as the wrong spelling of their names, the wrong capturing of their ages, amongst others. The other reasons for the exhibition exercise include the following. It provides an avenue for the objection of names of unqualified voters on the register. Any person entitled to be registered as a voter may object to the inclusion of names of persons on the provisional voters register if they believe that they are qualified to be registered as voters. It also allows a registered voter to cause the removal of persons who are deceased from the register. It also allows a registered voter to replace poor quality or damaged voter ID cards. And it also allows a registered voter to change their names. Voters requesting for change of name must have published the said change in the Gazette, and they must have been provided with documentary evidence to that effect at the exhibition center. In the light of the importance of this exercise, therefore, we entreat all registered voters to take time to verify their details in the voters register before its certification as final by the district registration review officers nationwide. I now come to the subject of mode of exhibition. During this period of exhibition, the physical copies of the 2020 Provisional Voters Register will be placed at all 33,367 exhibition centers to enable prospective voters verify their details as captured during the registration exercise and make requests for amendments or insertions where necessary. It is important to note that all persons who registered at the various district offices must go to their assigned polling stations during the exhibition exercise and not the district offices. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in a bid to ensure the safety and security of our stakeholders and to make life easier for all prospective voters, the Commission will deploy a mobile telephoning system, also known as the SMS, to allow prospective voters check their details using their mobile phones for a fee of 30 pesos. A prospective voter may access the system by simply texting his or her voter's ID card number to 1422, and immediately his or her details will pop up. With this simple process, a voter with a click of the button can obtain the following details: his or her name, voter ID card number, age, gender, polling station code, polling station name, district, and region. This facility will be available to all voters throughout the period from Friday the 18th of September to Friday the 25th of September 2020. We are aware that a number of citizens have tried to access this platform before it was activated. We wish to assure you all that your funds have not gone to waste. Our team have compiled your details, and the system will forward your information to your phone once the platform goes live tomorrow. Therefore, we urge you not to re-access this system. It is important to highlight that a prospective voter will need to visit the exhibition center if he or she notices an error in the details that come up from the SMS service. This only means that there were errors in the details taken and recorded at the point of registration, and this may be recorded if the voter so wishes. Sorry, this may be corrected if the voter so wishes. In that case, the voter would need to visit the exhibition center. For the information of the general public, the Commission will deploy 5,000 biometric verification devices to selected exhibition centers across the country. The device will be operated alongside the physical copies of the provisional voters register. This device will enable the prospective voter verify both biometric details, that is fingerprint and facial features, as well as biographic data, that is one's age, name, etc. The deployment of the 5,000 devices would also afford the Commission the opportunity to pilot the devices. Recruitment and training of exhibition officials. To ensure efficiency at all the exhibition centers throughout the country, the Commission has recruited a total of 73,107 exhibition officers to arrange and oversee the exercise. They include exhibition supervisors, deputy exhibition officers, verification officers, key trainers, technicians, and COVID-19 ambassadors. Every category has been provided comprehensive training on their respective roles. We trust that our officials will be professional, efficient, and pleasant to all who visit the centers. The Commission is desirous of ensuring the safety and security of its stakeholders. As a result, we have recruited one COVID-19 ambassador to each of the 33,367 exhibition centers, and they have been tasked to enforce the COVID-19 protocols put in place by the Commission. Logistics management. All materials required for the successful conduct of the exhibition exercise have been procured and supplied to the regions and districts in adequate quantities. We are confident that the comprehensive plan put in place will ensure that there are no such shortages of any materials at any of our centers. Now we come to the settlement of claims and objections on the provisional voters register. As part of the process of ensuring a credible voters register, the Commission has, in collaboration with the Supreme Court, appointed district registration review officers who are district court magistrates throughout the country. They have been assigned the responsibility of making decisions on all complaints and objections that are raised during the exhibition exercise. The district registration review officers would also authenticate the provisional register by endorsing it. The district registration review officers are required to communicate all decisions in writing to the Electoral Commission, and the Commission shall, within 14 days after parties to the case have been informed, comply with the decision of the district registration review officers, unless a certified notification on appeal to the High Court is brought to its attention. Observation of the Commission's COVID-19 protocols. As part of the Commission's commitment to ensure the safety and security of its stakeholders at the exhibition center, the following safety protocols will be observed at all our centers. Any person entering the exhibition center or queuing to enter the center must wear a face mask. Upon entering the exhibition center, a thermometer gun will be used to check the temperature of individuals. A maximum distance of 1 meter between registered voters in the queue will be enforced at all times throughout all the centers. In centers where we have the biometric verification devices, our officers will ensure to clean the surfaces of the devices with wipes before an applicant's fingerprints are verified. The Commission will provide hand sanitizers for registered voters to sanitize their fingers before leaving the centers. Our temporary officials have also been provided with the appropriate personal protective equipment to ensure that they are safe for the week-long activity. Now to other important details of the exhibition. The Commission will also display an exceptions list comprising the names of registered voters who have flouted the regulations of the registration exercise. The persons on the exceptions list cannot vote for the upcoming election. The Commission will also display the multiples list. This contains names of persons who have engaged in multiple registration and therefore cannot vote in the upcoming election. You can still check your voters' registration details if you cannot find your ID card. Once you are a registered voter, your photograph and details are captured and will be displayed in the register. Note, however, that being in possession of the card makes it much easier for you to check your details on the register. The current exhibition exercise is a display of persons who were captured during the just ended registration exercise. Therefore, there will be no voter registration ongoing during this period, except for corrections and updates on the already existing data. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your attention. Before we close the curtains to today's edition of the Let the Citizen Know, I take this opportunity on behalf of the Electoral Commission of Ghana to encourage all of you, our distinguished stakeholders, to participate actively in the exhibition exercise that starts tomorrow. Your participation in this process will contribute to ensuring the credibility and the integrity of the voters' register, which will be used as the foundation document for the 2020 presidential and parliamentary election. We thank you all for your time and your cooperation, and we thank you for continuing to believe and trust in us. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is open for some few questions. So those who have questions to ask can come to my left-hand side. So one question, the station. So let's go ahead.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Latif Idris. I've been joining you. My first question has to do with the filing of nomination charges.
Latif, now before you know, this is purely about the exhibition. And the exhibition is starting tomorrow. So we don't want anything to become a distraction to the exhibition. So please, let's restrict. If you have some questions on the nomination, after you can see Mr. Tite, myself about it. But this one is purely on the exhibition exercise. So please ask questions related to the exhibition.
Thank you very much. So you just mentioned, madam, that there's going to be exceptions list, and these people will not be allowed to vote. Who do you have on that particular list?
Thank you. The next person.
In addition to, my name is Sixtus Domla, I work for CTF TV. in addition to the question of the exception list, the multiple registrations, we had commissioned a committee to look into that. I was here to cover that particular inauguration, and I'm sure the system would have generated some figures. It would be good to let us in on the figures. On the question of the SMS code, the 1422 short code, at the national dialogue on Monday, I think, the commission officials said beginning tomorrow it will be free for anybody who wants to access that particular service. Madam Chair, you have just given us the contrary information, so I'm hoping to reconcile, because I have already told my listeners and viewers that the commission has assured them it will be free. So if you can give some clarification on that. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. My name is Akomodis. I report for Ma'am, just to take
We are not here, you report for who?
to Bloomberg,
Bloomberg, okay.
to take up from what brother left off. I perceive you are fully funded by the state. So in your answering your question, I asked why do you have to charge, given that you are well catered for? And that is one. And two, if people are doing multiple registrations, I suspect that is against some electoral rule law of a sort. Beyond just having them forfeit their voting, won't you set good examples by taking legal actions against them? I think to serve as a deterrent. Thank you.
Let's allow Mrs. Mensah and Mr. Tete to take a grab at the questions. So, Madam, Mr. Tete, whatever.
Thank you very much. With respect to the exceptions list, and the chairperson rightly said that with the decisions of the BRRCs, all those who have been disqualified will be placed on the exceptions list. Apart from that, we also have the list, and we also have other reasons why you be on the exceptions list. However, during the exhibition, there are a lot of things that should be actually do. You may even find your name on the exception list, and you can actually object to your name on the exception list, so that you appear before the district registration review committee as the chairperson rightly said. On the other hand, if you don't go and object, and your name is still on the exception list, it means come 7th December, you cannot actually vote. Is that okay?
Multiple registration.
It would, yes, the multiple registration, I can't actually tell the figure, but we can actually cross-check and then make the number of multiple registrations available to you. But there are certain decisions that we actually look at. Some clearly by the software, you can actually see that they are double registrations, and we didn't have any problem with that. There are others also that the education board also sat on, those cases which are not so clear. So we'll look at the numbers of the multiple registration and then make it available to you.
I think you asked the question about taking legal action against those who have engaged in multiple registration, which is against the law. Legitimately, the commission can't take legal action against them. But I do believe that there's a time for everything. At the moment, we are geared towards conducting free, fair, and transparent elections, and therefore we are focusing our attention to that area. But I believe that, we are going forward. These are decisions that could be taken. Some legal action could be brought against them. We will be deciding whether or not to publish their names, but I think the commission will publish their names on its website with their photographs and so on, and show the number of times that they registered, the different attires and that sort of thing. So be assured that we intend to call out persons who have engaged in illegalities And once the process of exhibition is completed, their images and their names will be published on our website. I think that you asked the question, 6-2, about the 30 pesos. Unfortunately, this service is attracting a fee of 30 pesos. Once you access it, I think you are required to pay 30 pesos. And that's why I did mention that for those who had accessed it previously, before the system went live, they do not need to re-access it. Their information and their details have been captured. Once the system goes live tomorrow, the needed and the necessary information will be made available to them. I think you asked the question, why do we charge? And I think it's the same, because it's a system that has been set up, they did not require, the commission to make an upfront pay. We didn't make payment for it. So it was sort of the service providers, to take care of the cost of setting it up. And it's not a charge that is going to really be a profit-making endeavor, but it's really to take care of the setup costs of the system. And that's why the 30 pesos is being charged to citizens who access the platform.
In the absence of, we still have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, thank you. Madam, in your presentation, you mentioned that people will be allowed to challenge those they perceive to be underage. Is this not a very tricky and slippery free room you are giving to people who would want to go to these verification centers to perpetuate the party's interest? So that if I know your stronghold, I come there with people to come and challenge the age and qualification of people who are coming there to verify their registration. Thank you.
I think it's important to note that this is not a free room we are giving to. It's enshrined, it's a requirement that is in law, so it's not a creation of this commission. It's always been part of our law. And if you reside in a community and you notice that minors have, had the opportunity to get onto the register, I think you have the evidence and you are able to object to their being on the register. It's important to emphasize that it is not any room that this commission is creating, and I think let's make that clear. This is contained in our CI 91 and has been in force for the last 4 years, and even several years before that. So it's not an open avenue that this commission is creating. It's something that has been in existence for a long time. But it still provides an avenue, and I believe that's why you have the magistrates. There's a process. So not everybody can get up and you can challenge and it will not go anywhere. You have to have legitimate reasons and evidence before you challenge it. And we have distinguished magistrates who serve as the DRROs who will be hearing these cases. So we do believe that they have enough experience to ensure that nobody brings frivolous reasons to get people off the register and get away with it. So I believe that this process has been tried and tested. It's a credible process, and it's one of the avenues that has been put in place to clean our register and ensure that it is credible ahead of the election. I'm sorry you cannot.
Let's give the chance to others. So you have had a chance. Let's give it to the gentleman who has come.
Thank you very much. My name is William Gento from P7. My question has to do with the ambassadors you are about to deploy to over 35,000 centers. My question is simple. Who is bearing the cost? And how much is it? Thank you.
Is it the COVID ambassadors?
Yes.
Thank you. That's the last question. Mrs. Mason, if that's it. Oh, one more.
This question is inspired by letting the citizens know. So for the citizens. Mom, in the event that a card is faulty or is wrong, you do the corrections and then you will withdraw the old one, you take it from the person, and then they issue a new one that bears the corrected names and what have you. Is that the process?
Okay. Madam, let's go with the COVID ambassador.
The COVID ambassadors are officials, temporary officials of the EC, and therefore the state bears the cost because it's part of our budget. And these are officials who would be at the exhibition centers to ensure that the COVID protocols and the safety protocols put in place by the commission are adhered to and observed. And so it's part of our budget, and the cost will be borne out of our budget. Be assured that it's not part of the accessing fee for the SNS. It's not included in the 30 pesos, please.
That's not what
Thank you.
Yes, when you get to the exhibition center, you will find out that there are two forms of corrections. We have major correction and then we have minor. You know, the minor ones are the ages, sex, and other things. When you come to the major correction, for instance, that's bad photograph. I hope you get me. Bad photograph. That is where maybe a change in the police station code. This is where you would be required to go to the district office to change your card. And at that point, the old card is what? Collected. And the new card is what? Given to you. So if you have a bad photograph, if you want to change the police station code, you know, if it's a major correction, that is where changing of the card is involved. You get to the district office and you are given a new card, and the old one is corrected. The spelling of names, those ones are minor corrections. The exhibition officer can even, once your photograph is there and then all the particulars are there, they can even ask you to even use the card. You know, it doesn't actually change anything. If it's a major one, a complete change of name, maybe you got married and you are changing the whole name. You know, it's a major correction, and that one will involve the giving of a new card.
Thanks very much for coming in. Thank you, Madam Chairperson and Mr. Tite, for the responses. We shall now invite our Greater Accra Regional Director in the person of Mr. Pam Yamwa to give us the closing prayer.
Thank you. Please, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for leading this first conference to a successful end. We give you praises, we give you honor, and we give you trust, Father, you are going to guide all of us. And the media will continue to support and give the commission the cooperation that we require. Father, as we live here, we say commit ourselves unto you, and we pray that you take each and every one to a final destination. Also believe and trust that at the appropriate time you bring us together again as you have done for us today. We give you praises and give you honor. In Jesus' name we pray.
Please, let's allow the chairperson and her team to leave, then the rest of us can also leave.
Granted.